Okay, so this is the Commodore 64 that I've attempted to repair in the past. I've put a new modulator in it, I've put a new CIA chip in it, I've recapped it, and I've put new voltage regulators on it. And it does work, but it comes up with garbage on the screen and it eventually just crashes, and it can not really get through the test program that well. So I've been looking at it with the oscilloscope for quite a while now. Every now and again I just go to it and see if I can find something wrong with it, and I haven't been able to find anything that looks particularly dodgy on here. I thought I might find a bad chip or something like that, but I've not really found anything, so that's a bit disappointing. So anything could be wrong with this. It could be the VIC, it could be the CPU maybe, it could be one of these logic chips or something like that. It could be the timing chips. I don't really know. So what I've decided to do is, well, I'll show you. Because this came up on eBay. An identical board came up for £20, which is quite cheap, I suppose. It's identical board to this one, except it apparently, I think the seller said it apparently works, but it is completely unpopulated of all the goodies, the good chips. It's got, well, I haven't opened this yet, but apparently there's no VIC under there. If there was and I got it for 20 quid, that's brilliant. But you can see there's no SID, there's no CPU, there's no PLA, there's no kernel ROM, and there's no CIAs. Everything else is apparently working on here. So what I figured I'd be able to do is transplant the minimum number of chips onto this board and just see if this board actually works with the chips that I've got, because then I can at least verify that some of these chips work, because I don't really know if the VIC's working, because the VIC does so much in the Commodore 64 that could be broken and just messing everything up, because it does the refresh on the RAM. So if the VIC's gone bad, your computer just doesn't work. Like completely, not just no graphics, it just won't work without it. CPU could be bad and it could be doing bad things to the RAM and making it look like the RAM's bad. Not exactly sure. So I'll put the minimum number of chips in here. It just needs the PLA, the CPU and the VIC. And that's all I need to get the diagnostic cart to run. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll see if it runs with these chips, and then I can at least verify that some of these chips are good. But before I'm going to do that, I will boot this board up without any chips in it. I'm just going to measure these voltage regulators before I go any further and just make sure that these are actually outputting decent voltages. Because if they're not, I could put these chips in and just blow them up. So I'll do that first. So here we go. Let's boot this thing up with nothing in it. Hopefully nothing goes pop. There's no LED, but I think that's on. We'll find out. So we should have 5 volts coming out of this. Oop. 4.97, that'll do. And this one should have 12 volts. Oh, there we go, 12 volts, spot on. Yeah, so it's got good voltage regulators in it. They were better than the ones I had in the other one. So it's not going to blow anything up. So next thing to do, should have no VIC in here. If I can get this damn thing off. We've got no VIC in there, which is what I expected. It's time to do a transplant. Okay, so CPU's out. That's the GAL PLA out. There we go, and the VIC is out. Right, I think that's all I need. I don't need to change the kernel ROM. So I'll put this to one side. So if I repopulate these chips, and then we get to find out what is going on. So I believe we have the minimum number of chips populated to make that work. I've got a CPU, got a PLA, and I've got a VIC. So now we get to see what happens. So if this works, then these chips are good. I mean, they kind of work in the other one, so I'm expecting a picture. Anything else is a bonus. Right then, here we go. I don't know if this cartridge is in the test mode. I think it is. Getting nothing. Is this even on? Nothing. So I think I actually had a dodgy cable. Well, it might be a dodgy cable. It might be something wrong with this board, but I've changed out my cable that uses chrome and luma for just a composite one. And watch what happens when I turn this on. I get a picture, and it is truly awful. That is like worse than the other one. Well, it does actually look different to the other one though. So it's not quite the same. It's got the same, like, it's corrupting the screen, but it's running. That is truly awful. Let's just reset that. Oh yeah, it just gets worse as it goes. Wow, that is utterly awful. So let me see if I can pop this kernel ROM out, because that's the only one that I thought I didn't need, but I'll just take that out anyway and just make sure it's not that. Right, let's take that kernel ROM out and see if we still get the same effect. Oh, this doesn't work without the kernel ROM. Oh, that's not good. So the back bit can't boot the diagnostic cart without the kernel ROM in, so I did need that. There we go. That's slightly disappointing, because what that means is I've still got, well, it could be that this board's bad, but probably not. I'll check to see if the seller seemed to claim that it was working. If it is, I've got a bad chip, and I don't really know which one it is. Could be the VIC. If that's the case, that's really annoying, because they're hard to find. Even the CPUs aren't that easy to find. Could even be this kernel ROM, because this backbit cartridge can't boot without the kernel ROM in. Yeah, that is consistently rubbish. Different to the other one, but consistently bad. Wow. Unfortunately, I'm no closer to a solution at the moment, other than it's very possible that it's the VIC or this. I don't think it's going to be the PLA. I think the PLA is good. It could be the CPU, possibly. It's just really, really hard to tell. But I think I've got a bad VIC or a bad CPU, and I don't know which one. So there it is. So this is the chips. These are 1, 2, 3, 4 chips out of the old board, and everything else is different. And I've got a different problem, but somehow similar in that the computer runs and it's got memory corruption. Yeah, I don't know. I could have a bad VIC here. It's really, really hard to tell. It's just too hard to tell. So I'm probably going to have to leave it there for now, because without a different CPU or VIC, I won't be able to test this any further to know which one of these is bad. I'm suspecting the VIC, but it could be the CPU. Could be this kernel ROM bringing it all down, who knows? Or it could be this board's bad, but pretty much got the same effect in this board as I have with the other one. So unless I can get some replacements for these, I'm not going to be able to go much further, because I'm suspecting bad chips now.